from the frigid armpit of America, this is the Drunken Peasants Podcast with Ben and TJ, bringing you opinions of the news from an altered perspective.
Say, man, you got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
And now, here are your hosts, Ben and TJ. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is Ben here with TJ. Also in the studio today we have Scotty.
Yeah, he's not a drunken peasant, though. He's a sober noble.
Yes, sober noble.
We got a lot of stuff on the agenda today. We have a story about Dennis Rodman. He got really shit-faced while in North Korea, said a bunch of stupid shit. We're going to cover that. Also, there are some people that claim to be disabled, firefighters and police officers that claim to be disabled from 9/11 that are now being possibly convicted for fraud. And a bunch of other stuff here. So we'll get right to it here.
Yeah. Let's do it in the butt. That's the kind of high-caliber humor you expect from this show.
Yeah, so...
references to butt fucking.
There will be a lot of that.
Yeah, that's the second butt fuck reference of the night, and there's going to be at least 247.
There needs to be a butt fuck counter. Every time you mention butt fucking, goes...
Yeah.
Butt fuck.
Let's get on the butt fuck counter, Ben. Bing!
Yeah.
Bing!
So we got a video here, and it is Dennis Rodman and some other retired American basketball players that went to North Korea to participate in a game. It was a birthday gift to the current supreme leader of North Korea,
Kim Jong-un!
Yeah, and Dennis Rodman is clearly shit-faced, and we're just going to play a little clip of it here and listen to how the CNN reporter was kind of milking it for everything he could at this point.
Effectiveness. I wish you good luck and effectiveness in influencing the people there. I hope it's a good cultural exchange. Dennis, let me end on this. You do have a relationship with this man. You've said it many times. We've seen it demonstrated.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
Are you going to take an opportunity,
Right.
if you get it, to speak up for the family of Kenneth Bay and to say, let us know why this man is being held, that this is wrong, that he is sick? If you can help, Dennis, will you take the opportunity?
Watch this. The one thing about politics, Kenneth Bay did one thing. If you understand, I got it. If you understand what Kenneth Bay did,
Yeah.
do you understand what he did?
What did he do? You
in
tell
this
me.
Country.
You tell me. What did he do?
And no. You tell me. You tell me. Why is he held captive?
They haven't released any charges. They haven't released. They haven't released any reason.
Listen. Let me do this. I would love.
Yeah, right now the guy sitting next to him is trying to reel him in here. He's another former basketball player. He can clearly see that Rodman is shit-faced and incoherent, but
I think our audience can hear that Rodman is shit-faced and incoherent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was part of that where he was kind of just barking. He was just kind of like, oh no.
He seems sober to me.
He seems that's how he always is.
Yeah, he seems sober.
He's fine.
To speak on this,
Go ahead.
you got 10 guys here. 10 guys here that have left their families, left their damn families to help this country as a sports venture. Got 10 guys, all these guys here. Do anyone understand that?
We do, and we appreciate that, and we wish them well with cultural exchange.
No. I'm just saying, no, I don't give a what the, I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think. I'm saying to you, look at these guys here. Look at them.
Yeah, but Dennis, don't put it on them. Don't use them as an excuse for the behavior that you're putting on yourself.
They came here.
You just basically were saying that Kenneth Bay did something wrong. We don't even know what the charges are. Don't use these guys as a shield for you, Dennis.
Listen.
Ain't no shield. I got it. Let me do this. Really?
They tried to reel him in again, right?
Yeah, the sober, rational, appointed spokesman of the group is desperately trying to get Rodman to shut up at this point, and Rodman's telling him, "No, let me do this.
I've never seen. I know he has a naturally deep voice, but I've never heard him speak like.
Yeah, what like did he take Tom Waits pills? Like, what's going on?
I'm gonna tell you one thing. People around the world, I'm gonna do one thing. You're a guy behind the mic right now. We are the guys here doing one thing. We have to go back to America and take the abuse. Do you have to take the abuse? Well, we gonna take it. Do you, sir? Let me know. Are you gonna take that abuse? We gonna get it. But guess what, though? One day, this door is gonna open because these 10 guys here, all of us, Christy, Ben, Dennis, Charles, all these guys, everybody here, we could just open the door just a little bit for people to come here and do one thing.
And Dennis makes a great point. There are other...
Yeah, Dennis makes a great point. Actually, I mean, I think we can see what Dennis Rodman is trying to say. I don't know if the audience out there listening, because we've heard it a few times, but I mean, what he's really saying is, like, we're here in this country, but maybe we're a force for diplomacy. Maybe we're opening the door a little bit, but it's pretty hard to get that sentiment across when you're clearly just well beyond the point of smashed.
Yeah, and this asshole reporter is kind of taking advantage of that and asking him a very serious question about a prisoner, an American prisoner in North Korea, kind of giving him shit for not trying to negotiate a release. Dennis Rodman.
They're basically saying, like, oh, are you going to try to use your position and influence to get this guy free? It's like Dennis Rodman is a basketball player, and he's also a little bit unhinged. I don't know if anyone's noticed that.
You know what I think he was trying to do? I think in his mind, he was trying to, like, make one of those movie speeches where at the end everyone's just, like, clapping, like,
slow
Dennis,
clapping.
Yeah, you frickin' explained it so well. You just, and everyone, like, would have been brought to tears, but he was just fucking wasted beyond belief, so.
Yeah, like, in his mind, there was, like,
there was applause.
Yeah, there was, like, because you even saw that in some parts, you're like, let me tell you! It's like, what, okay, Macho Man, Randy Savage, that's fine.
That's kind of what
Me and you at SummerSlam.
Americans here on this trip. You have to understand that we're not alone. We're in passage with about 50 people. There are other Americans that have been to Korea, in and out of Korea. They're here on a tour. They're here with us. We interacted with them as well. The key is you can bait Dennis or any of us into
Charles, that's not my intention. That's not my intention.
But that
clearly his intention. I mean, clearly the reporter conducting this interview was baiting Dennis Rodman, and because it was apparent even early on in the interview, before Dennis was speaking, that Dennis was fucked up. Like, he's sitting there making strange gestures. I mean, it's pretty obvious why they zeroed in on Dennis Rodman, who was clearly not the appointed spokesperson of the group, and decided to, you know, let's try to get a good soundbite out of him, and of course they did it. But don't insult our intelligence by acting like that's not what you were up to, because it so clearly was.
He's not a very articulate man when he's sober, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why it doesn't make sense for them to be like, why aren't you trying to negotiate the diplomatic release of this political prisoner? It's like, it's Dennis fucking Rodman, you idiot. What the fuck is he gonna do? Dennis Rodman's gonna lay his smooth talk on Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un like, oh, I see error of way. I let him go.
I think Dennis Rodman and Henry Kissinger, you know, they're probably one and the same, really.
Almost.
So,
yeah. If you know, they used to call him Kissinger. That was one of his.
Yeah. So I think it would have been fun.
But yeah, this is one rebound Dennis could not recover. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's just a few more minutes left, and then we'll talk about what happened today. I don't even think we need to play the next video on the subject, which is basically just his wife being his spokesperson. But we'll play the rest of this video here.
That's not,
Charles, it's not my intention. It really isn't.
It
really isn't.
But let me finish.
Please.
If that's not your intention, we've said numerous times that we're not here for any political aspects. We're not here to talk politics. So outside of that, any questions that come back through that is baiting to get us into politics.
Charles,
and that's not what we're here for.
Charles,
every man sitting here understands that.
Charles, I understand it as well. I wish you good luck with the cultural exchange, but you know the issues that are at play. Good luck with the game. I hope it has the results that you want it to, and I wish you a safe trip home. Thank you for joining us this morning.
And they lost the game?
Yes, they did lose the game, which I call bullshit on. Honestly, I know these guys are older and retired, and they were playing some younger North Korean players, but there's no fucking way in hell that they lost, legit.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this guy fed his own uncle to a pack of wild dogs.
Yeah.
So maybe we should go ahead and throw this game.
Yeah, and it was a birthday present. It was an exhibition game as a birthday gift to him. So.
It reminds me of the exhibition fight in Rocky IV, where Apollo Creed fights Ivan Drago. But in this version, Ivan Drago throws in the towel.
Yeah.
Ivan Drago's like, oh no!
Well, if he is dead, then he is dead. Yeah, and there was a clip of Dennis Rodman singing Happy Birthday to him, but I couldn't find that. But that is fucking hilarious. I suggest doing a search for it if you can find it.
Yeah.
I'll say JFK gets Marilyn Monroe, and what is this? Kim Jong-un gets Dennis Rodman. I think they have slightly different taste in sexual partners there.
Yeah. I wonder who's the top.
I don't know. Looks like he's a little pudgy and fat, but he is the leader of a country, so...
Yeah.
He's like the only fat person in the country.
That is true.
He's the only person in the country who could conceivably be fat.
Yes. Yeah,
If there was another fat North Korean, they'd probably execute him for stealing food.
Absolutely. And one thing I know for sure is that no one in North Korea can hear this right now. So
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so anything
to
else?
all our fans in North Korea.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Stay warm.
Stay warm, North Korea. Stay free. What's next?
The next thing we have
9/11 fraud.
Yes.
I don't know much about this story, so let's just go ahead and play the video. Oh, let's change the picture.
And next, right here tonight, a big bust of some police and firefighters accused of massive fraud. And adding to the outrage, some of them reportedly trying to cash in on one of America's darkest days, 9/11, when real heroes showed real strength. ABC's Bob Woodruff has the details.
They were the ones who ran towards the towers, amid smoke and ash, saving lives, toiling for days on the pile. For many police officers and firefighters, the experience at Ground Zero took a lasting toll, physically and psychologically. But today, dozens of other retired firefighters and police officers are charged with lying, making up claims of 9/11-related mental illness to get millions of taxpayer dollars in disability payouts.
This alleged scheme, involving people who once served the public and helped those in need, raided government coffers and took advantage of the very people that police officers and firefighters are sworn to protect.
Prosecutors claim 4 ringleaders, including an 89-year-old pension consultant, coached first responders to appear disoriented in psychological evaluations. Prosecutors say more than 100 police officers and firefighters lied, about half of them blaming 9/11 for their disability. But investigators say photographs, video, and postings on social media reveal the defendants do not appear to be disabled, despite their claims they could not use a computer, could not drive, could not shop. Former police officer Glenn Lieberman, shown here on a jet ski.
And that's the picture we have up right now.
I have a question. So are these actual 9/11 first responders, though?
I believe so.
So basically, I mean, I don't care. Let them scam the system then. I mean, if they were actually first responders to 9/11, like, you know, I mean, they probably deserve whatever compensation they're getting. In my opinion, I mean, I'm all for you know, sidestepping the process and doing that.
Yeah, it seems like not only them but their consultant who.
Yeah, I mean, like if they were given this advice by someone who's in a position that's supposed, where he's in a capacity where he's supposed to be advising them.
They were coached. I remember, like, as they even said, some of the responses to the disability forms were like the same handwriting. You know, the same doctors, the same people. So
yeah, I mean, I can see maybe holding those guys accountable, but holding actual 9/11 first responders responsible for something they were coached to do. I mean. How can you say these guys are of shiesty moral character when they were the ones who were actually responding to this huge disaster?
Yeah, I think part of it is that we're so far removed from it now. They're just looking for ways to recoup money and catch people that they believe to be working the system. It's almost like they
the real question is, why weren't these guys taken care of in the fucking first place where they felt the need to do this?
Absolutely. And we know there's plenty of 9/11 first responders that came down with physical ailments that killed many of them, and they weren't getting the treatment that they deserved.
I mean, plus, how do we know that these guys weren't disabled to some extent and they just were told to exaggerate it to give them a more clear-cut case? I mean, we don't know how these guys were advised, but I mean, if they were really being advised by someone who is in a position where you're supposed to take their advice, I mean, if your attorney tells you to lie, you lie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess some people might have a problem with the dishonesty involved, but I don't really.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from on that, because they were told to do something from someone who was appointed to help them. So this was the path that they were given by someone whose job it was to make sure that they got what they deserved.
I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg. If people really believe this isn't commonplace, then they're just fucking stupid.
And it's not exclusive to 9/11, I'm sure.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Actually, I saw a few other stories while I was looking at this one that kind of related to this, to other types of workman's comp of public workers.
Let's play the rest of the clip.
Okay.
Received $175,000 over 4 years after reportedly saying he couldn't go outside.
I can only express disgust at the actions of the individuals involved in this scheme.
There is anger tonight among the families of the heroes who died on 9/11. George Siller lost his brother Stephen, a firefighter.
How do you know your... Wait, hold on. How do you know if your brother had survived he wouldn't be in on this shit?
That's exactly what
I mean, you don't have a crystal ball that tells you what happens in an alternate reality where your fucking brother survives, you piece of shit.
No, people love to have the reason for outrage, so if they have an excuse, I mean, he had nothing to do with it except for the fact that his brother was involved in it.
Yeah, like, what the
outraged.
fuck do you know, bitch?
Yeah.
You weren't there. You didn't fucking do nothing. Yeah. Go suck a fucking dick.
On the pile right after 9/11 to rescue and then to recover, and many are dying today from the cancer. So it puts a mark against people like that who are so dedicated and truly represent what the fire and police are.
Now, George Siller also told me that he is sickened, he's appalled by this alleged fraud.
Okay, well, I mean, if this fraud was really so huge, then it's obviously something within the character of firefighters and police officers in general to do this. I mean, how can you deny that if it's really this widespread? I mean, for all we know, 90% of the people who died in 9/11 would be doing this if they had survived. So, I mean, how can you really judge someone just because they didn't happen to die? Okay, if you die, then you're a saint, and you never would have done this.
That's because
I mean,
you
just
don't have a voice.
statistically, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, I mean, pretty much everyone that died for the cause of Christianity that was a leader historically was a martyr for dying and became a saint because of that. So it kind of follows suit.
Yeah, you can't be contradicted if you're dead. It's like he did these actions, those actions were taken, he's great, and that's all there is to it. Now,
yeah, but I mean, like, whatever percentage of people, whatever percentage of firefighters and police officers were involved in this, the same percentage of the ones who died would have been involved in this had they not died. That's just a fact, right? I mean, how can you possibly deny that?
Not at all, yeah.
So, I mean, you're basically, if you're calling these guys scum, then you're also calling some of the firefighters and police officers who died responding to 9/11 scum. There's no way around that.
Well, I'm sure the people that survived that were confirmed to have been there were getting calls from ambulance chasers like crazy, because someone has to pay for it. Someone locally would be held responsible, even in the case of a terrorist attack, for not, making sure that the area was more secure than it was. So,
do you guys want to move on?
Yeah, do you want to play the rest of the clip, or?
No, I think we've. There's only a few seconds left, and I'm sure there's nothing worth responding to in it. I think we've covered this story pretty well. I'll just sing a bridge to the next piece. La 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 la. Butt sex. Bing bing. Okay, nearly half of black males. Go back up. Nearly half of black males and 40% of white males are arrested by age 23, according to a study. A large number of African American men have been arrested by the time they're in their early 20s, according to a report. The study, published on Monday in the Journal of Crime and Delinquency, man, they got a journal for fucking everything, found that nearly half, 49%, of African American men and 40% of white men have been arrested by the age of 23, which can hurt their ability to find work, go to school, and participate fully in their communities, according to a press release. Okay, like, if 50% of black people are being arrested before the age of 23...
Well, black males.
Yeah, black males, and 40% of white males have been arrested by the age of 23... Doesn't that probably tell you that the laws that we have on the books are probably too strict and that we have too many fucking cops and that we're basically living in a police state, or am I wrong?
I'm guessing the majority of them are marijuana-related arrests. Pan-related arrests.
Related to the pan. That's what we call pot on this show.
Pan?
Yeah. We call it pan because Fox News calls it pot, even though no one calls it pot anymore. At least no one we've ever encountered. So we call it pan.
Yes.
Let's go smoke some pan.
The reefers.
By age 18, 30% of black males, 26% of Hispanics, and 22% of white males have been arrested. And
well, that's because there's
by the
literally,
age of 23 to 49, 44% of Hispanic and 38% of whites have been arrested.
there's literally a law against everything in America. You know, if you share a DVD with someone, or you broadcast it publicly, you've committed a law. It's like if you possess a lobster in some states, you've broken laws. Like, there's literally a law for everything.
Get out of here, Dewey.
What are y'all doing in here?
We're smoking reefer. And you don't want no part of this shit.
Reefers? Yeah, of course we... No, Sam.
Come on, Dewey. Join the party.
No, Dewey. Get out of here. You don't want it.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, but just this once. Come on in.
And then they were arrested.
Yeah. But I think they were all
But they
over
were all
20.
older than 23.
Yeah.
No, but people just looked... Well, that movie took place... That scene took place in the 60s or 70s, where people looked older. You know? 23-year-olds looked like haggard 50-year-old men in that time. So...
They should do safe drugs like alcohol and cocaine.
Yeah. No, alcohol and tobacco. Those are the safe drugs. Those
I
are the safe,
I
legal...
maintain they should do cocaine.
Cocaine?
Yeah. Okay, every movie about a rock band or Martin Scorsese movie, someone has to do cocaine. It's like a rule.
It turns all your bad feelings into good feelings. It's a nightmare.
That is a nightmare.
I think if GD did cocaine, he would kill someone. That's my prediction. He would just walk into like a restaurant or a building and just beat someone to death.
I would. I want to try cocaine now.
I don't think you should.
I want to.
I think if you did, you would kill
You just
someone.
don't want to be the person that I kill. You have selfish reasons for preventing this, Scotty.
Well, I mean, you can't blame me.
Yes, I can.
I guess you can, but I still don't want to die, so there's always that.
The thing
God,
is
you're such a pussy.
Fucking pussy, you want to keep on living, huh?
You're so attached to your pulse. Jesus.
When you want to
Bullshit.
do cocaine, you have to make sure that there's an objective to accomplish. Like let your house not be clean for like a week and then do cocaine.
Be like, I'm gonna clean the fucking house. Yeah.
No, I have the solution. Have you guys seen Metalocalypse?
Yes.
Hookers and ice cream.
Hookers and ice cream. Yes. Why don't we have that here now?
Hookers, ice cream, and cocaine.
I guess if we had a hookers, ice cream...
I don't think we're doing the show.
Yeah, there would be no Drunken Peasants podcast if we had hookers, ice cream, and cocaine.
No.
The show would be going on, but no one would be talking. You'd maybe hear, like, vaguely in the background some sex noises.
Vaguely.
That'd be you failing, TJ. I wish I could have sex, but I have like a whiskey dick and all that going on, but I'm still have cocaine, so it's okay.
That's all right. I still have my fist.
I've heard people try to contradict this story because I actually heard it on the radio first, and the only people that called in to comment on it were cops that were saying no, that's not true, and then everyone else saying yes, that's true. It happened to me. So,
no, but the cops know best because, see, they're representatives of the state, and the state never lies. That's the truth. What else? What do they have on this? Let's see.
When they touch
on
females,
this is who's this talking? As a society, we often worry a great deal about the effects of children watching television, eating junk food, playing sports, and having access to good schools, Bram said. Experiencing formal contact with the criminal justice system could have powerful effects on behavior and impose substantial constraints on opportunities for America's youth. No shit. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're arrested and processed through the system before you're even 23 fucking years old, of course it's going to have an impact on your life. And I think all of us meet the criteria, at least to some extent. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was arrested but never processed, so.
And the thing is when you first get arrested for any type of drug-related offense, normally they give you the option of therapy or jail. And of course, you choose therapy first. And the therapy, it almost seems like that's kind of a racket that the criminal justice system is running with these agencies that do drug treatment. Almost like, we'll send them to you type thing. So
no, that's all they care about. It's like the DUIs and DWIs are called like the $10,000 ride home because like you can get out. I mean, you'll probably be out in like 6-12 hours and you'll spend so much in legal bills.
Yeah.
And the lawyer's just going to be like, plead guilty. So you're going to pay a lawyer $5,000 to be like, well, you're guilty, so do you want to fight this? Well, what happens if I fight it? You'll lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a public defender.
I would like to be my own attorney.
My friend got a DUI rap, and a bunch of people had paid lawyers thousands of dollars, and they all pleaded guilty. And like he was the only one that was actually found not guilty. And when he tried to get his license reinstated, they put him on the bottom of the pile, and he had to wait 3 weeks for them to process a piece of paper that said he was found not guilty.
Yeah, because they have to punish you for being found not guilty.
Yeah, you're punished for being innocent.
You beat the system, so we gotta fuck you a little harder.
In New Mexico, there was almost a racket between the criminal system and installing those interlock systems onto your car. It was kind of a business that was, it was an involuntary business that you had to have installed in your car. And every time you'd be driving, you'd have to breathe at random times. The thing would start beeping. And if you didn't blow into it, your car would stop running. And it was a felony if someone else blew into it for you. So,
yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
America, fuck yeah.
And the land of the free and the home of the brave. Beavis and Butthead find that amusing. And now we have another alcohol-related story, I believe. Apparently, Madonna, her son was drunk, or they had a picture of him drinking. We're going to go ahead and play a video clip of that debacle.
New controversy this morning. Madonna is under fire over an Instagram photo of her 13-year-old son. Entertainment correspondent Michelle Turner is here to explain why is this such a big deal? Probably because it involves Madonna.
Exactly, and I'm going to channel Miss Michaela Pereira this morning and ask, is this a controversy or a non-controversy? I'm thinking it is a little bit of a controversy because it involves minors and alcohol, right? So on New Year's Eve, lots of people have a good time. Madonna's in Switzerland celebrating the holidays, and she posted this picture on her Instagram page. It's a picture of her son, Rocco, holding what appears to be a bottle of, I think, Bombay Sapphire gin. Another boy, one of his friends, with another bottle of alcohol.
Wait a minute. Madonna's son is named Rocco?
Yeah.
And we didn't get the Rocco's Modern Life theme song?
No, I didn't.
Come on,
man.
Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life. We should have. What the fuck? You dropped the ball, Ben.
I'm looking at this fucking picture, and I don't even know which one is him, honestly.
He's the middle one.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the middle one. See, because
Okay.
he's the only one that's not blurred out in the news photo.
Okay.
We have an unblurred photo.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, the kid on the right there, just, I don't know what's going on with his hair, but he looks like he walked out of an 80s video.
I know. I was just thinking that too. I was like, that's the 80s kid.
And then the fucking middle kid looks like a fucking like wannabe gangsta from the 90s. And then that other guy looks like a Ben Affleck clone that went kind of awry.
He has like a bad teenage mustache.
They were in Switzerland though, so
Jesus Christ!
Why would what?
One of the dogs in here has let out a nasty fucking fart. Just now.
Yeah, that's the one sitting right below you.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
The fuck did you eat out a skunk's asshole? What the fuck?
She had chicken and rice.
A different sort of technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Ew. Anyway, I can't.
Holy shit!
I know. It's nasty as fuck.
I mean, they were in Switzerland though, so
Drinking age is 16 there.
yeah. I mean, but even still, it's like it's just some celebrity's fucking progeny. Who gives a shit?
Also, the attitude around drinking in Europe is a lot different.
Here's the thing too. It's Madonna's kid, so it's like, what is this really going to lead to? Like, if this was someone else's 13-year-old, be like, what are you going to accomplish in life drinking at 13? But like, this kid's life is already like, he's already been born with the golden spoon, so like, he could pretty much do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. He can drink and do fucking drugs and like
the golden ticket, like from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, you know he's got a golden ticket.
Not mention the fact that his mother was probably the world's most famous whore.
Yeah.
At one time too.
What do you mean once was? I mean, now she's just the world's most famous old whore.
Yeah.
Madonna sucks. I hate Madonna.
Yeah.
I detest her.
Yeah, I thought it was strange covering the story. It was just like something that came up, and I thought it was.
All right, TJ,
It's
I have
not
a question.
it's not like it was. Okay, go ahead.
My question is, if Madonna offered you $1 million to sleep with her, would you do it?
Yeah,
Well, there you go. Then you love Madonna, TJ.
I do.
Therefore, you love Madonna.
I could do a lot with $1 million.
That's what I'm saying. So, you'll stick with the team. You need to offer Madonna that if she pays you $1 million, you'll sleep with her. I think you should do
All right, Madonna, I'm putting it on the line right now. For $1 million, you can take the microcock. You can have it. All fucking...
Go, gadget cock!
All 4 point whatever inches of it. It's all yours for just $1 million.
$1 million.
Just a cool mill.
That's nothing to her.
That is nothing
Yeah,
to her.
she's fucking wealthy beyond, all reason for what she does.
You slept with Sean Penn, so we know you got no standards.
Yeah,
So-
she was actually married to him, so she probably slept with him a few times.
Yeah, at least 3 times. I mean, that was the only... she could probably only pencil him in 3 times because she was busy with other cocks
exactly.
the rest of the time. But
Donna's son, 13 years old, right? So people got all aflutter about this, saying, what is this underage kid? Why is she promoting alcohol in kids? Madonna, of course, never wanted to back away from a controversy. She posted a message on her Instagram and basically said, simmer down, everybody, okay? She said, no one was drinking. We're just having fun. Calm down and get a sense of humor. Don't start the year off with judgment. People on Instagram, though, were still giving her flack about this. One person says, it's poor judgment to...
I don't really care. I'm pretty sure the kids were drinking, but even if they weren't, like, I just detest the statement, like, don't start the year off with judgment. What do you mean? Why can't we judge?
When you're a public figure, you're constantly being judged. So if you don't like being judged, then stop being a public figure.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could have, if you'd stepped out of the spotlight at any point, you pretty much would have been forgotten, so...
The thing that annoyed me the most about her is when she had the fake British accent because she lived in England for a few years. Now all of a sudden she has a fucking British accent. She's from Michigan. Where'd the fucking British accent come from? I know a guy who's lived in England for the last 10 years, and his dad's actually from England, but he was born in the U.S. and he doesn't have any accent, and his wife is from England.
It'd have been better if she had one of those unrefined kind of...
the Cockney accent.
Yeah, like, hello!
Hello, governor.
Hello, governor!
Gonna wash up me apples and pears, fetch to the dog and bone.
Yeah, that'd been better.
Okay, I think Ben just took the cake.
Yeah,
there.
he wins.
Yeah, he win.
all we got is, hello, governor!
Bit of a sticky wicket. And Ben's like, oh, shit.
And Ben's talking about polishing apples or something.
The apples and pears. That means stairs.
Cool.
The dog and bone is your phone. Anyway, I'll keep it playing here. As all of our subscribers in the UK unsubscribe right now.
Yeah.
Glorifies substance.
Your accents are garbage.
I was thinking about this. And growing up, I know some of my friends' parents actually allowed them to drink in their presence. They felt like, if you're here with me, we can control it. So that kind of brings up the question, is she glorifying alcohol in minors, or is she just having a little fun on New Year's Eve? I tend to think the other side. I tend to think the controversy with Miss Michaela.
Well, I don't know. I feel like everybody's going to just be freaking out when they see the picture.
Well, some
I mean,
people
their action
say,
has probably been bad. I'm sure.
it just doesn't look good when you got 13-year-olds hanging out on New Year's Eve with alcohol.
Are they all 13? Because the kid on the left does not look 13.
He looks like about 16. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, who knows? You know, that's only speculation.
Where do they dig these kids up? Because these look like no people I've ever met.
Probably fellow rich people's kids.
Probably.
Like,
That's what I would assume.
They could just, yeah.
Who else just decides to pop into Switzerland for New Year's Eve? It's not the fucking poor people.
Maybe they're Swiss.
Yeah, they could be.
They could be Swiss. That's another possibility.
Or they could just be his friends that they brought along with them.
That's another possibility.
But the thing is I knew people whose parents would let them drink. They kind of took the approach that it's better to have them drink around me when I know they're safe and they're all
My parents made me drink. They were like, "What? You getting sick already? You little pussy! Come on!"
And they give you a fifth of vodka and make you down it.
Down that fifth, boy. Down the hatch. You gotta learn to drink. You little puss bag.
Puss bag.
You don't fucking.
I like how we now have like Cletus as our parent. this different version of history you're writing now.
No.
And then he was
It's
like,
all
"Okay,
true.
Mom."
Yes, Mummy. I'll do whatever you say.
I don't want to drink, Mommy. Whoosh! Shut up. Shut your foul little
wire
mouth.
hangers.
Shut your
Never
foul
know,
little
but
mouth.
listen, Madonna's a lot of things, but I don't think people have ever said she's a bad mother.
And it's
Well, they're saying it now.
What? What? I call bullshit.
Madonna's a lot of things. A whore.
A charlatan, a liar, a cheat.
A
She's
whore.
talentless.
And a whore.
And a whore.
Did I mention whore?
Whore.
She came out with a book called Sex. It was a
Yeah,
picture book.
She's such a
Like the picture
she's
book.
such a whore that her son should be named Jorge, not Rocco.
Jorge.
I wonder why her son's named Rocco. Was she just high and watching
beds were
Nickelodeon?
Rocking. Yeah, the beds were rocking as she was like. She probably doesn't even know who the father is. The father might be a rich guy. If she was smart, the father's some rich dude.
The father is
some Spanish guy.
She probably just thinks of them as like cock number 1742 or something. Not that there's anything wrong with a robust sexual appetite.
And people actually make fun of this now because they say like, please send pic, because she would actually write that to people like, Madonna sleep with me. She's like, please send pic.
Wow.
So I mean, she's a total whore. It's pretty much verified.
I don't know.
She's very scary and skeletal looking now.
That turns me on.
Oh well.
It caters to my Skeletor fetish.
So does the $1 million.
Yeah, the $1 million is a big turn on. I'd do it for as little as 20,000.
As little as 20,000. Okay, so you're negotiating now. It's a negotiation with yourself.
Is that taxable when you prostitute yourself out like that?
Not if it's cash.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a cash business.
Kind of like the marijuana business in Colorado. But that's a whole other subject. I'll play the rest of this fucking video and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Madonna is provocative.
Yes,
She has
she is.
been from
She
the
does like to
beginning.
bait
It is
folks,
it is
doesn't
a
she?
bit par for the course for her. And people are saying it's bad messaging for kids. If you're basing your messaging to your children on what Madonna's doing, it's a good point. We might want to have a talk.
What kid is influenced by Madonna at this point, though? What kid is sitting there like, Madonna's kid can drink? I mean, like, what 13-year-old even gives half of a fifth of a seventh of a flying fuck about Madonna?
None of them.
None.
No.
Zero. 0.none. Maybe there's one kid
There's
somewhere.
one kid in West Virginia. Some kid in West Virginia loves Madonna.
His name is Adam, and he paints toy cars, and he listens to Madonna, and he sucked my cock once. But that's a whole other story.
Did he pay you $20,000 though?
I paid him
You
$20,000.
paid him $20,000. Well,
He was cute.
All right, so now
what's next? ICP.
Yeah, unfortunately.
do you notice and recognize America?
Fucking magnets.
Group Insane Clown Posse filed a lawsuit against the FBI and Justice Department Wednesday for causing discrimination against its fans.
The duo is upset that the FBI has classified its fans as, quote, gang members. ICP fans are known as juggalos, and the group says they're more like a family, not a gang.
The New York Times reports the group, along with the American Civil Liberties Union, claimed the government made an unwarranted and unlawful decision to classify fans of the band as criminal gang members, leading to their harassment by law enforcement and causing them significant harm.
In 2011, the FBI included juggalos in a national report on gangs. Attorneys for Insane Clown Posse filed a lawsuit seeking documents to explain how the FBI made that designation.
That 2011 report states most crimes committed by juggalos are sporadic, disorganized, and individualistic. Disorganization and lack of structure within their groups makes it difficult to classify them and identify their members. Many are comprised of transient or homeless individuals. Though there have
Okay, so basically I mean, like, we pretty much have to side with ICP here, because between ICP and the FBI, both three-letter acronyms or abbreviations or whatever, I think the FBI is the more ridiculous of the two, sadly enough. And, you know, basically when you sit there saying, like, when they were showing the report, like, this is disorganized and these crimes are individualistic, doesn't that go against the premise of they're a gang? I mean, and especially when you say that they're made up of, like, homeless people and transients, like, isn't crime more frequent among those groups anyway, out of necessity?
Yes. I mean, a gang would fall under the category of organized crime. There'd have to be some sort of organization.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you can't have a disorganized gang, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, some could be more disorganized than others, but there still has to be an organization of some sort.
And I mean, it's I mean, like, and also, I would imagine that it's like if you're a Blood or a Crip or something, you're definitely a criminal. But if you're a Juggalo, you're not necessarily a criminal. So, officially designating Juggalos criminals, I mean, maybe it's like a crime against, like, intelligence.
It's probably like greater. They could probably get greater funding or something if they say shit like that. So it's like, we need another gang. Hey, these people are fucking stupid. Let's put them. They're a gang.
Yeah.
What are their gang activities? They all go to the same concerts.
Yeah, you know, I remember when the Marilyn Manson thing got really big, and at my high school and all around the town I grew up in, there were just hordes of kids with their hair dyed black, wearing makeup, wearing Marilyn Manson shit, and by those same standards, they could have been classified as a gang at that point.
Why not classify Deadheads as a gang?
Yeah.
I mean, like, classifying the fans of any particular band or music group, even one as terrible and unlisten-toable as ICP.
Actually, you know what? I think maybe the FBI was on to something, because look at all the riots with the Justin Bieber fans. I think they should be classified as like a terrorist group.
Believers?
Okay. Yeah, believers. Yeah, we should classify them as a terrorist group, and then like all send them to like Guantanamo Bay or those other countries. And
all right.
I say right now we start the fucking rival gang to the Believers and take their asses out.
Yeah, I want to shank some little girls. Just like, hey, do you listen to Justin Bieber? He's amazing.
You're on our territory, bitch.
Don't you know you can't be no believers up in here, motherfucker.
We the non-believers.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yep.
We're non-believers.
We the non-believers.
Rival to the believers. There's only 3 of us, but I'm pretty sure we're still gonna win.
We could take out like 20 of them. Just the 3 of us.
In like a second.
There's like a website like how
One
many
big clothesline.
What is it like? How many 5-year-olds can you fight? And like, you know, I think we could like calculate. I think that between the 3 of us, we could probably take out like at least 500 believers.
Let's play the rest of this video.
All right. After that, though, we have to make a plan on taking out the Believers.
Been a number of incidents involving Juggalo members in the past. Last year at the 2014 gathering of the Juggalos, Fuse talked to fans who defended themselves against the gang allegations.
They think we're gang members and we're this and we're that. It's like, I'm a college graduate. I have a good job.
They don't understand us, so they don't know what to make, and they just have to put some kind of cap on it.
The rap duo itself told Fuse, to name our fan base a gang with Crips and Bloods, I don't know where to begin with that. Does that mean our concerts are gang rallies now? Does that mean our merchandise is gang apparel? The defendants in the case have until March to respond or request that the case be dismissed. Insane Clown Posse has admitted it will not be easy to fight the FBI in court. For Newsy, I'm Jasmine Bailey.
The thing I hate most about this story is that it forces me to be on the side of ICP. The lyrical geniuses behind fucking magnets, how do they work, and I don't want to talk to a scientist. Motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed. And you're making me take their fucking side because they're actually in the right, and that pisses me off.
And their horrible green screen videos.
Yeah, and I saw that they actually have the ACLU.
Yeah, the ACLU is fighting on. It's the ACLU and ICP versus the FBI. We need more groups with just letters to join this fight.
So what's our acronym as the anti-believer gang?
Wait, we're non-believers,
Yeah.
so it'd be NB.
Oh,
we
that sucks.
need more letters. We need more.
We're gonna need some time to kind of.
We should be the NFB, non-fucking believers.
There we go. NFB for life.
NFB for life, motherfucker.
It makes it sound like either like a sport or like which one else would you
Well,
call
killing little girls who listen to Justin Bieber probably would be an entertaining sport. I think we need to wait a few years before that takes on. Let's get a little bit more economic disparity in the country, and then after that, people will tune in to anything. It'll basically just be the Hunger Games, but instead of a bunch of kids fighting each other, it'll just be us killing a bunch of kids. That's all I'm saying.
It'd probably have high ratings, so I mean, we'll probably get rich in the process.
And we have to put out horrible rap songs, too.
That can be arranged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could write lyrics just as good as ICP. Check it out. See?
All you have to do is put your ass up to the microphone and fart. Yeah.
DJ, you just won 3 Grammys. Oh, no, you're up to 4.
You just went
multi-platinum.
That was the most rhythmic flatulence I've ever heard in my life.
It was, and it was better than Katy Perry.
That's why he won 4 Grammys. Well, he was just doing that.
Yeah.
Those were the quickest Grammys ever.
Well, I mean,
well, the Grammys are a fucking joke anyway, so it's just
is it hard
based on sales.
Is it hard to know why when you hear that masterpiece that I just let loose from my bowels?
We're going to take a look into the comments section really quick here and see if anyone's saying anything interesting.
No.
Really quick. No, you don't want to do that?
Let's see.
No, I mean, I'm just saying no, it's nothing interesting.
TJ Foxstains is here.
Yeah, and I want to let you know.
Yes, I would.
I want to let you know.
Everyone...
If you keep posting the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again, we're going to block your ass.
We're going to banhammer you like
it
the
doesn't,
motherfucker you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Would you fuck a flea? That's what that was the Eric Draven. The trolls are fighting. They're fighting amongst themselves. Fight, trolls, fight.
There was a Jesus
troll fight.
There was a Jesus troll in the room earlier that was totally being fed like crazy. Look, it's refreshing right now, so we'll see what they're saying now. They're actually...
Can't we look at the... Where's the real... We don't have that real-time chat room anymore?
I think I have it...
Just click on the video, and then we'll see what they're saying in real time.
Real time.
With Milbar.
TJ, I think we have to talk about the TJ Foxstains guy's channel and like his Skyrim thing of you dancing.
Yeah, we went... There's a guy... He's in the chat room right now. His name is TJ Foxthings. And all of his videos are of me fucking things, except for the ones where he made like a little Skyrim version of me, and that he jerks off to. And we're pretty sure he has a man crush on me. So TJ Foxthings, I'm in Ohio. Come on down, and you'll see me fuck something for real. It'll be your butt.
I like
and another butt fuck. Bing!
Bing! Butt fuck counter. Bing!
I think Microsoft's going to sue us at some point because we're using the Bing thing.
I like how he just asked, I am not a troll? We're not sure, honestly.
I am not troll? What am I?
Yeah,
if not a troll, what am?
Because we got the TJ Fucks thing Skype request, and TJ was like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What would you consider science and art?
Bullshit.
Taco Bell.
Well, look, we're not listening to scientists because they try to explain magnets, and that pisses us off.
Yeah.
And science, art, the only art that we acknowledge is ICP and their greatness. for weird juggalos.
But we are looking for people that we can recruit to join our anti-belieber gang.
NFB.
So, NFB, faux life.
Talk about your option on world hunger, and should we help them or should we let them go?
Should I stay or should
Who are
I
they?
go?
Who's they?
Yeah, there's
And
a
what-
lot of hungry people out there.
I'm hungry right now. Go
Stranger danger.
Give me a cheeseburger.
TJ, you're in
I
stranger
think,
danger with TJ fucks you.
I think we're gonna
He's gonna
take
kill you.
we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna be back with we're gonna reenact some Rush Limbaugh, and then we're gonna talk about some crazy bitch that pulled a gun out of her pussy, and we're gonna talk about a pastor who decided to be an atheist for a year.
Are we still calling Galen?
And someone who accidentally killed someone by giving them an atomic wedgie.
Yes, and we might have Galen Halcyon on the show. Galen, for those of you,
I
who
think
don't-
we should bring Galen on just to hear his crazy ass shit.
yeah.
I think
Galen's going to come on, and he's going to say whatever he's going to say, and it's probably going to be pretty off the wall and
because
entertaining.
we definitely have to call some people and harass them. I think that just goes without saying.
We're going to call Galen, and we're going to fucking proposition him for sex.
Yeah.
Yep, so we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe not 15, more like 10. Right here.
But
unless our
if we're-
hookers and ice cream arrive, then it might be longer.
If we're not back in 10 minutes, just wait longer.
Yeah, the Drunken Peasants podcast.
Drunken Peasants.
We are back. The Drunken Peasants podcast.
With the sober noble Scotty.
Sobriety sucks.
Don't say that, Scotty. Don't be down on yourself.
Well, I'm the designated driver for you, TJ.
Don't be down on yourself, you stupid
I'm the designated
fucking
driver,
faggot.
TJ.
We need to talk about someone in our chat room.
You asshole.
Let's talk about what is her name? Karen Kinsey.
Yeah.
Who first was like, I can't wait till Galen's on there so they finally talk about something enlightening. And then she's like, why is the break taking so long? Well, why the fuck? What if it's unenlightening shit? Why the fuck are you even eager to see more? That doesn't make any sense, Karen.
It might be the train wreck theory. We're a train wreck. They just can't.
Yeah.
They can't.
And
turn
actually,
away and look away.
our viewer count was higher when we were playing music than during our show. So apparently, our breaks are better than we are, which I don't know how to feel about that. But I believe that we're going to reenact some Rush Limbaugh here. This is an actual Rush Limbaugh call. We might not reenact the whole thing.
The greatest gift that Rush Limbaugh has given to the world is that he leaves transcripts of all of his shows on his website.
Which is beautiful.
We did one of these on our last show, and people seem to enjoy it. So we're going to do it right now.
Ben will be playing the part of Rush. I will be playing the part of Rush's ignorant caller.
Yes, and even though in this situation the caller was a woman from New Hampshire, I believe TJ will still be using the typical...
I will be playing it as a redneck male because that's just funnier.
All right, so we're going to go into it right now. Rochester, New Hampshire, this is Sue. Sue, welcome to the program. Great to have you there. Hello.
I'm a boy named Sue.
Hello, Rush. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Snurley, for putting my call through. Rush, I've been spending a lot of time in prayer and concern, disbelief over everybody being all concerned over weather pattern and old deep freeze.
Yeah.
You know, there's record-breaking weather we've been having in Rochester, New Hampshire. I've been witnessing chemtrails. The chemical flying plane above us, all everybody, it's what's called chemtrails.
Chemtrails, yeah.
I've been doing a lot of research. And I've been out to Senator Kelly, you're out in Senator downtown Congressman Carity Porter trying to get an answer for these hazardous brands of barium stock making all in our weather. I think it's very hard to understand.
What are they telling you?
Oh, Kelly Yvette told me letters that look like it was, no mind telling me contrail. And I was like,
what do you mean they're denying it?
Oh, well, they did contrary to condensation, she explained.
They're denying the chemtrails?
Well, absolutely. They denying everything. They fucking liars.
Liars! Absolutely.
Yeah, these are facts. They denying that. I had grown my third visit to Carity Porter's office, and I had to fill out authorization, supposedly, under the Privacy Act, I had authorized her to inquire on behalf of the United States Air Force Department of Defense, CIA.
The CIA?
Yeah, that's the department I was told was putting it authorization.
The CIA can't do this domestically. Now, chemical trails...
Well, it was actually...
In the Middle East, that's...
Well, United Nations on an agreement, and we're going to do all kinds of that like the others.
Are you kidding me?
There's a lot behind the scenes. Well, it's all part of a big secretive military program just about to reverse the effects of global warming. They're manipulating the weather.
Well, I'd say it's working quite well, if you ask me. I mean, if they're trying to stop global warming, they may have overdone it with the chemicals. Did you ever think of that?
Oh, it's very disturbing, because I want to know.
How did you come across this?
Well, I've been witnessing it here in New Hampshire.
Wait. You've been witnessing it?
Yeah, in the sky constantly. I've been taking pictures and video. You see the planes and you see the little smoke cloud behind, and that's chemicals they use to poison the population, control us all, make us all infertile, and compliant with their evil whims.
I just took like 20 Oxycontins, and that shit be kicking right now, but just to make sure I understand what you're saying here.
Russ, let me just tell you something, Russ. I want to stuck your fucking dick.
Well, I must admit you sound pretty sexy.
I want to stuck your fucking big fat fucking dick, Russ Limbaugh.
Well, thank you. I think that sounds great, and I think you can fit perfectly here under the golden DIB
I'm
microphone.
actually calling from under your desk right now. I'm about to slob on that here.
Holy shit.
Russ, you quick.
and that's an authentic transcript, right?
We might have deviated.
I think we
slightly.
I think that sounds totally accurate.
Rush shot his chemtrails into my mouth.
Tastes like Oxycontin.
I think it would too.
It probably would. Good old Rush.
Yeah, and that is our reenacting Rush segment.
Yeah, and
for
it
the show
was we
today.
did not deviate from the transcript at all.
No, that's exactly how it was written.
100% accurate.
Even the sucking sounds and
yes,
everything.
that was in the transcript. It said suck, 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 and then Rush Limbaugh was like, oh, 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 oh,
suck it like Obama.
Oh yeah,
Suck it like
yeah.
John Kerry.
Suck it.
Suck it
Fucking
like Bill
suck
Clinton.
it.
Oh, fuck.
Suck
yeah.
it.
Oh.
Suck it.
Fuck yeah.
Suck it.
That's the sound I make when I have an orgasm.
No! That's a bad orgasm.
No, it's great.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's a... Would you
The
being
prequels
raped?
flash before your eyes every time you have an orgasm.
Let's see. This is just a story that we're covering out of sheer
fascination,
strangeness. Cormac, this is like a story that it could be. I wouldn't even say an Onion story because it's just too bizarre for the Onion. It really just seems like something that you wouldn't even believe someone could make up. Cormac McCarthy. For those of you who know who Cormac McCarthy is, he was the writer of No Country for Old Men and The Road, and a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. Cormac McCarthy's ex-wife pulls gun from vagina during argument over aliens.
What?
Yeah.
January 8th, a domestic dispute over space aliens escalated Saturday morning when a lingerie-clad New Mexico woman allegedly pointed a silver handgun at her boyfriend, a weapon she retrieved from her vagina, where it had been placed while the accused was performing a sex act.
Keep it classy, New Mexico.
Yes. To make matters more strange, the arrested woman is the most recent ex-wife of Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist Cormac McCarthy, author of The Road and No Country for Old Men. What I want to know is, what was her position on the aliens? Was she saying, it doesn't say anywhere in the article whether she was saying the aliens do exist or whether she was saying they don't.
A lot of people in New Mexico, because of the Roswell thing, believe that.
She looks like a believer to me.
A believer and a believer.
I don't know if she's a believer.
Bust a cap in her bitch
You guys might
ass.
not want to talk shit about this woman. She was willing to put a gun in her vagina.
Yeah. What kind of gun was it, is what I'm wondering.
It would have to be a really small gun.
Not necessarily.
I'm hoping.
Babies come out of there. It could have been a bazooka for all you know.
She had a 357 in her snatch? Is that
Maybe.
what you're saying?
Maybe it says. Let's see. What is it?
An M16.
An M16.
It says it was
an M240.
She had a Tommy gun.
It does not say what it was, but you know, if she can pull a gun out of her ass, I wonder what she'd pull. Out of her pussy, I wonder what she'd pull out of her ass. Probably like a chainsaw or something.
That's probably where she was keeping the
That seems reasonable.
All right.
Okay, well, there's really.
We'll go with
I guess
that.
there's really nothing more to say about this story, but
yeah.
Oh, by the way, TJ, would you like to talk about how you were banned from Tumblr?
Yes.
But it was false advertising?
It was false advertising. Well,
Yeah, you're a liar, TJ.
well, you know, like I have this series of videos called "Banned From," where I banned from really, restaurants, and in these videos I tell these outlandish stories about how I was, you know, I've killed people in restaurants and I've like eaten people at Subway and shit. And apparently, like, some feminists don't watch the videos. They just look at the titles and assume that they're all true, and I've really been banned from all these restaurants. And the Tumblr fucking community has reblogged this tens of thousands of times, this misinformation that I've been banned from these restaurants. And so I made a video called Banned from Tumblr to make fun of how stupid they are. So, of course, they actually believe, some of them actually believe that I have been banned from Tumblr. And those who found out that I wasn't have called my video false advertising. It's not advertising at all.
Yeah, what the fuck is he advertising?
Yeah.
What product is he trying to sell, and what offer did he make?
Yeah, like
that
it's
was
like,
false?
oh, they made this movie. Well, they just called it John Carter, but like the original book was called John Carter of Mars.
Yes,
you know, so I guess they could sue that movie for false advertising since he didn't actually go to Mars.
Well, you know, there's no Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck's up with that, Tolkien? You liar.
You know, Star Trek. You know.
Yeah, that's not really shot in the 24th
Yeah.
century. Come on now.
The Day After Tomorrow, TJ. That you didn't see the movie The Day After Tomorrow. You're seeing it today.
What the fuck?
That's false advertising.
False advertising.
Yeah, I expected to see a time machine when I walked into the theater.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't see one, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And
And for those of you who wonder, Marty McFly did not actually go back to the year 1985.
Hey, you!
1955.
Get your damn hands off her!
This is an interesting story. Do we have a picture for this one? For that?
Oh, actually, yeah, we do.
Let's put the picture up.
Sorry.
Let's do it in the butt.
What?
Bing.
What in the butt?
Bing.
What in the butt?
Bing.
Oh, no, wrong one. Wrong one.
Why?
why?
There we go.
Okay.
Wherefore art thou?
This is fired pastor Ryan Bell receives staggering donations from atheist community led by blogger Hemant Mehta.
Hey, I know who that guy is, too. He is an atheist YouTube vlogger.
Cool.
I've actually watched him a few times.
Former Seventh-day Adventist pastor Ryan Bell decided to critically examine his faith by embarking on a year-long journey to try on atheism. But his philosophical experiment has already led to some serious consequences. Since he began his Year Without God on January 1st, 2014, he has been fired from his position as adjunct professor at Azusa Pacific University and Fuller Theological Seminary. He wrote in a blog post, "So I find myself on day 4 without any employment. My savings will run out in about 2 weeks, and I am scrambling to find immediate work doing, well, anything. Manual labor, waiting tables, other teaching and consulting, or whatever I can find." Luckily, giving up his faith in God didn't mean he had to give up his faith in humanity, and a generous initiative by atheist blogger Hemant Mehta has demonstrated the power of community. Though Mehta initially criticized the methodology of Bell's approach, he set up a GoFundMe page to support him, writing that, "As an atheist, I want Bell to know that we appreciate what he's trying to do and will support him even if his Christian community will not. More importantly, even if he decides atheism isn't for him when the year is over." Well, I mean, like, what I'm really curious about is this guy going to stick with atheism now that he's seen how quickly his religious friends turn on him and how quickly the atheist community embraces him in his time of need.
The thing I don't understand about this is how did he actually embrace atheism when he was still a theist? In reality.
Well, you know, that's the thing. It's kind of like, I think it's philosophically impossible to live as an atheist unless you actually are an atheist.
Right.
But, I mean, it's an interesting thought experiment. I mean, obviously he's trying to challenge his own assumptions, which probably if more religious people did that, there would be less religious
You are
people.
disqualified as a theist now.
So is he like sitting around reading Hitchens and Dawkins all day?
I'd imagine that for him it probably just consists of not
praying?
actively worshiping or praying.
Yeah, probably
or
not going to church.
Going to church.
That's
and
not
all that
even
stuff.
necessarily atheism. I know plenty of theists that don't pray and don't
Yeah.
go to church.
But I mean, like his thought experiment is flawed, and I think we can all agree on that. But I mean, the fact that he was kicked out of the universities where he taught and basically stripped of his religious credentials. That's kind of telling. Like, even if you as a thought experiment, I'm going to be an atheist for a year. No, you're fired.
Yeah,
you must be destroyed, and we must pile as much mud and shit and piss on your name as we possibly can, because we can't have this sort of thing happening.
Yeah, I almost see it as his way of reaching out to atheists in a different way than a lot of, he's not doing the Ray Comfort approach of reaching out to atheists. He's trying to empathize with them.
Yeah, but it's interesting that that's how the experiment might have began, but now it's atheists who have reached out to him.
Very ironic.
And basically given him a windfall in his time of need, because just for trying to do this thought experiment, misguided though it might be, he has been totally rejected by the community that he was once obviously a very important part of. And that's kind of sick when you're not allowed to question. And that really just shows a lot of the problems with religion.
Yeah, I mean, basically, atheists are doing what Christians would consider to be the Christ-like thing.
Yeah, and that's always the wonderful irony.
Yeah.
Is that the atheists once again prove themselves to be the more Christ-like of the groups. Not to say that all Christians are hypocrites, but
No.
It does seem to be a pretty well-established precedent at this point.
Especially the the religious right in America, more than anything else. When we look at it that way, and then we have the farthest extreme of the Christian right, which I would say is the Westboro Baptist Church, even though I think they're technically Democrats.
Yeah, and Fred Phelps was a leader in the Democratic Party. And he actually ran for some political positions as a Democrat, and he was actually a great civil rights, maybe not a great civil rights leader, but he was a civil rights leader at one point. Yeah.
I think this just proves that atheists are better at social media and PR than Christians when it comes to like modern, modern times. Like back when they controlled the newspapers and all that shit, where it's like you have to have this very mainstream view. And now social media, you can just enable that to be like, oh, these people spurring this guy. Let's fucking take this as an opportunity to show like we're not assholes like these people. I mean, 4 days in, being fired. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
The atheist that they cite in this article, I think, his name is very similar to yours, TJ. It's the Thinking Atheist, and I think he may steal some of your clicks sometimes. For people who don't fully read the name, they're like, "Oh, new amazing atheist video." Hold on, wait, no.
Is he implying that I don't think?
No, well, I don't know. You might want to
ask.
That
piece of fucking shit. Now I turn on him.
She should be banned from YouTube.
I fire him from my community. Let's see if anyone does a fundraiser for his ass.
TJ, he might have stolen some of your clicks. I think we should start a fundraiser for you. You need about $300,000 compensation?
Yeah, $400,000.
Yeah, 'cause you lost maybe like 5 or 6 clicks, last week. So
I need at least as much as I would get for having sex with Madonna.
Yeah, so at least 20,000.
Yes.
So maybe instead of donating to this Christian, he should be donating to you since he's stealing your clicks.
That piece of garbage. No, the Thinking Atheist, I'm sure is a good guy.
No, actually, I enjoy his videos. They take a different approach than you do. You're more entertainment based, and all of his videos are about religion and atheism, and obviously you've branched out from that. So
I deviate.
Yes.
You deviate from our
One
scripture.
of us.
One of us. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble. We will make you one of us.
Are we gonna? You know what? We may want to take a short break to get Galen on the line, and then we were gonna cover that next.
Do we have a picture for it?
Yeah, I do actually. That was the one I accidentally brought up a second ago.
Put it up.
I have a few pictures of him.
Do we have a picture of Galen to put up too?
No, I don't.
We have to get a picture of Galen.
We don't have one.
You could probably just go on Facebook and grab one really fast.
No.
You don't want to put... I think it would scare people.
Do it.
That should be our intention, to scare people. Like,
all right.
This is Galen. He's crazy.
Do you want me to just call him and get...
Just get him in
Yeah,
here.
let's call him and just see what
happens.
happens.
Let's do a recap of the story first before we
Do you want me to
on.
play the video and everything, and then we can get him on and get him to comment? Because we do pause it a lot. He'll be able to hear the video and everything, too.
Okay,
so.
well, let's get him on the line.
Okay.
We're getting Galen.
Galen.
The great Galen Halcyon. The great and wise and powerful. The sexual dynamo.
Sexual... Now we have our first question for Danielle. If we get on there. Is Galen a sexual dynamo, or is he a dud?
I don't think he's answering now.
Galen's scared.
I don't think Galen's scared. I think Galen's like, fuck these assholes.
All right, well, let's hang up and just do the story. Maybe
Okay.
maybe we'll be able to get him on afterwards.
Okay.
All right, let's play this video of this kid.
Yeah, this is bullshit. But by the way, if you look at the kid in the picture, he was 18 years old. He looks like he's 15. I guess he was small for his age. And we'll play it here.
Let's play this clip.
He was a skinny and obviously talented teen when he pounded out hard rock rhythms at his drum set. But family members say 18-year-old Keith Vidal also struggled with schizophrenia And Sunday, he became too much for his parents to handle alone.
Could you send an officer over here? We have a son that has schizophrenia, and he's not doing very good. We got to get him someplace.
That was Vidal's stepfather calling 911. He told the dispatcher this had happened before, and all they wanted was help getting him to treatment.
He wants to fight his mother, or he's got a screwdriver. He just, he's not doing good.
I just want to point out that he had a fucking screwdriver. A screwdriver. Just want to point that out before we play the rest of the story.
He had a good drink. That's what you're saying.
Scared to death of him.
2 officers from 2 different departments responded, and family members say everything seemed under control. Officers calmly talked with their son. He wasn't violent. That's when they say a 3rd officer showed up and ordered the 2 others to shoot Keith Vidal with stun guns. Seconds later, that same officer shot and killed him.
They murdered our son for no reason.
A family friend who had known Keith for years shared details with CNN Report, describing how the 5'3", 100-pound teen fell when he was stunned, how 2 officers then jumped on top of him, and while they held him down, the 3rd officer, who ordered the stun guns, then shot Keith in the chest and killed him.
So...
they felt threatened by the 5'3", 100-pound
shooting
kid.
Who was on the ground.
Yep.
Being
Tackle.
a 5'3", 100-pound teenager being held down by 2 grown men and being tased, already completely incapacitated, obviously, shot in the chest by an officer. And the funny thing is, I don't know if it says it in this story, but the parents say that the officer before he shot him said, "We don't have time for this."
Yeah, I think they may mention that, but yes, I've heard that from several sources, and obviously the man in the 911 call is also the same man saying they murdered our son. So
yeah, the cop actually called the police too, the one that killed him, I believe. He said he had to defend himself. That's what he said. I had to defend myself.
I'm going to call Galen really quick here because I think he's aware that that we were trying to call him here. So I'm going to try and get him on here.
Let's get him on here.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Galen.
Hey.
We're talking about this story. What's the name of this teenager that got shot?
Keith Vidal?
Keith Vidal. We're talking about Keith Vidal, the 5'3", 100-pound teenager that was held down by 2 cops after being tased and then shot by a 3rd cop. I wanted to get you in on this story because I know that you're quite unrestrained and you've had situations similar to this happen in your life.
Well, recount the story to me. I want to go over it.
Well, basically, this kid is a schizophrenic. He was threatening.
How old?
He was 18 years old, but he was very small for his age. He was 100.
He's like 100 pounds or something.
100. He's 5 foot. He was 5'3", 100 pounds.
Wow, so he's like a little boy.
He looks like he's about 13 or 14 years old.
Or if not, well, I don't know, maybe even younger, like 10, because like that's like that's like really the size of a small little girl. You know, like you see those. My girlfriend, she's 4'11", but I mean, like I think sounds like she could waste this guy.
Yeah. I mean, this kid looks real scrawny. Definitely poses no threat to officers. I mean, he was already subdued on the ground. He was being tased, and a 3rd officer said, "We don't have time for this," and shot him once in the chest.
It was 3 officers from 3 different departments, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I know that you've been in a situation, or several situations perhaps, that are similar to this story, and I thought you might have a unique insight into the situation, and maybe you could talk about it and give us, you know, I mean,
what is your opinion?
Well, basically, I mean, we're obviously a little bit perplexed by the story, and you know,
what's your opinion?
We're indignant, to be honest.
Well, how do you feel? Tell me both of you how you feel, and then I'll respond.
I feel that it was an excessive use of force. He was already subdued. That he did have a screwdriver at one point, but by the time, I'm sure he dropped the screwdriver when he was being tased. You can't really hold on to a metal object while you're being tased like that.
So he's tased on the ground, and he somehow gets shot or something?
Shot in the chest while laying on the ground.
The reports say that he was being held down on the ground by 2 other officers, and the 3rd officer shot him.
Okay, was he face down or face up?
He must have been face up because they shot him in the chest.
Okay. And did he die?
Yes, he's dead.
Okay, how did his parents feel about this? I think he was living at home.
Yeah, they actually called 911 because he was getting out of hand, but now they're saying that the police murdered their son.
Yes. And again, TJ, your opinion is?
I'm repulsed.
Okay, and what do you is there a criminal case going forward against these cops?
The particular officer that shot him has been put on paid leave.
Okay. And your opinion?
My opinion, the same as TJ. I think it's disgusting. I think it's another situation where police overexercise their right to use deadly force in a situation where they obviously didn't need to. I could see if he had a firearm on him, at that point it doesn't matter how small he is or how young he is. But at this point, I think it's pretty disgusting that 3 of them, when they already had him subdued, decided to use deadly force at that point.
Now, I heard this from my girlfriend, who is a mental health advocate. She does this thing called the Danny Z blog, my girlfriend Danielle, and she had told me what I had heard about it. I haven't really looked into this matter, but she has. She is really strongly opinionated, more so than both of you combined. And, of course, that's her advocacy thing. But she's really indignant. And she said that the officer came in and said, "I've had enough of this shit," and then shot him after being there for 1 minute.
The quote that we heard was, "We don't have time for this."
Or yeah, something like that. We don't have time for this shit. It was something with a curse word.
By the way, like, what was was Dunkin' Donuts closing in 10 minutes or what?
Well, I'll tell you. You want to know my perspective, but you asked about. I'll get to that, but I want to go over a few things first. And you asked about my personal experience. My personal experience is, I know a lot about legal matters. First of all, I mean, I've been to court before over things. Never as a person as a perpetrator, though. I'm not into that. Though I have had harassment by police, which I always have dismissed with even an apology from the court for harassment by police, because I mean, it just seems like it's a normal thing that happens with a lot of people, where certain people abuse.
And you live in New Orleans, where the police are particularly notorious for that sort of thing.
And the federal government has oversight of the New Orleans Police Department as well.
Out of necessity.
Yes, out of necessity, because of their long history of abuse, as it's well known about what happened after Katrina, where, as to take another instance, if you thought that this is bad, they, for basically kicks, shot a retarded man in the back of the head and through the Katrina ordeal, and just to kill him. Yeah, and they've been fighting that. Of course, they've had to clean up the police department after that. But what do you think? You see what I'm going with this? They shoot people who are mentally retarded in the back of the head for kicks, and burn bodies, do all kinds of other stuff. But it's a long history here. So the police always are looking for someone. A great guide, by the way, with the police is an ACLU guide about how to deal with the police. Any person, if you both haven't read that, you should. They're guides from the ACLU on how to deal with police. You never cave into them. You stand up for your rights. I mean, I've been with a policeman who pulled me over after he said I ran a red light and wanted me to hop around and on one leg and do all these dances. I was like, hey, dude, I'm not doing this. You want to arrest me? You can arrest me, but fuck you. I told him straight up, man, arrest me. You're a fucking piece of shit. You want to get me for disorder? You try to do anything out of ordinary, I'll defend myself against you. Try it. You want to shoot me? Shoot me, motherfucker. I told him straight up. I don't pull with that shit. Getting to the thing with my brother, I had another incident even with military, National Guard, when I came down here, as TJ knows. You have to stand up for yourselves in situations. I understand, like, the parents are watching this happen. I'm kind of indignant, really, toward them in this situation. But I tried to get in New Orleans. I had a pass from Homeland Security.
Well,
Pop pulled a gun on. 1 second. Pop pulled a gun on me. I mean, National Security and police pulled a gun on me and told me I couldn't enter the city. I pulled out a gun on them. I mean, like, you want to kill me? We'll shoot each other, motherfucker. I'm coming through. If I have a right to do something and someone wants to prevent my rights to go somewhere and do as I please, I'm going to fight for what I'm going to do, and I will also defend myself. I will also defend others. There's this thing like, why is the family not doing, why didn't they interfere? If that was my brother, as my brother called in a certain similar situation, except he was nonviolent and he is schizophrenic, and he was in a catatonic state, and they were talking about arresting him and doing this, and I was like,
why were they talking about arresting someone in a catatonic state? Do you have any idea what was the thought process behind that?
Well, they said, because it's a mental illness stereotype. They said mentally ill people are insane and crazy or a threat to them in the public. And I said, well, you obviously are illiterate and ignorant, I told them. I became irate. I asked them for them to leave. They didn't, and I told them to come outside, and I'd see them outside because I was going to break everything in my parents' house, because this happened when I was a teenager. And I actually did wait for them outside, and I also threatened them, and it almost came to violence between one of the officers separating me from the other officers. There were 3 others, and one of them finally took my side and took my brother to the hospital as we had called for an ambulance. I then spent the next about day and a half at the hospital getting my brother admitted.
Your family didn't even call the police; they called the hospital.
I had called 911 for an ambulance for my brother, who had gone from 230 pounds to about 91 or 92 pounds, and he was near death and in a catatonic state and not able to function as a human being, and he was dehydrated severely and not doing well, and in a catatonic state with his hand up in the air.
So the police's response to being called to a scene of a catatonic 91-pound person was they wanted to arrest him.
Arrest him or possibly let it be, but they kept talking about, wanted to know how violent he was and about crazy people, and they kept talking about crazy people.
So you think that perhaps in this case with this kid who is not much heavier than your brother. I mean, this kid was not malnourished, but he was a small kid.
Well, my brother is 6 feet tall.
Yeah, this kid was small, weak. They shot him. Do you think that the stereotype of mentally ill people?
Oh, number one. But it's 1A and there's another 1B.
Which is just, what is 1B?
1B is the culture of lawlessness that is in the police system and overall authority systems, from the prison system and the justice system, that pervades over police and their ilk. If you look at the jail system, it's widespread with issues of rape and lawlessness and drug dealing. It's a PhD ground for criminal sociopathic behavior.
So you're basically saying that the system designed to preserve law and order is in itself lawless and without order.
Well, yes, and it's just like when I would defend the cops to a degree in this. Okay, the cops are acting within a culture, a language-thinking culture, where this is what is permitted and these are the rules. And I would say that the cop that did this was merely as a non-thinking person who was carrying out what he thought was protocol. And this is what is protocol. Why are widespread, is it well known, about police corruption in every town, in every city, in every state, in every prison, everywhere? Why is it so widespread? And they're not maintaining law and order in any of them. What is going on here? Why is that? Well, and I'll go to another point afterward.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, what if the story was different? What if it was his mom and his dad that held him down, and then his brother shot him and killed him? Then they'd all be on trial for murder.
Yes.
So, it really bothers me how police are not held accountable the same way normal people would be. They get a paid vacation when they kill someone. They're not put on trial for murder. The worst that could happen is that they'll lose their job, at the very worst, and I think that enforces the type of behavior that we see here.
There's a third culprit. There's another culprit here. It's the people. It's even the parents. Now, let's just say they would have, in my situation, would have shot my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I would have killed the police officers. By the way, I was armed. I would have killed them. And I was ready to when that happened if they would have done anything. And I wouldn't have had a problem doing it. People act as though these officers are above and you can't do anything. Recently, and I'll give this is a way of how government officials and anyone who's acting in somehow authority is above the law. There is a former CIA analyst who's written books about terrorism, and he's a Fox News analyst. I'm not a fan of Fox News or anything, but I just wanted to point this out. And he wrote about, basically about assassination of leaders and other stuff, and people and revolutionaries. And because he's dealt with terrorists who are revolutionaries, and he's going, showing about lawlessness and what is law. Now, I don't really always concur with what this guy's saying, but I can see where he's coming from. Now, when I looked on Facebook about this, people said, if you want to go against the president, then you should be arrested for your speech for even inciting that. However, I saw people who routinely said that President Bush should be assassinated on a regular basis, that he was a monster, and it was a human rights event. People don't understand that just because a police officer is doing it, why were those people even let off the property? If I would have killed those police officers and stopped them and reprimanded them and probably killed them, all of them. Anyone who would have resisted against me in arresting them, which there have probably been all of them, and if it would have been more, I would have died for it. I don't let anyone do that. The moment that guy shot them and any of them aided them, they obstructed his civil rights. And I'll say why it's his civil rights, because if they would have shot just some black guy, and they would have been like, well, you have no rights, fuck you, you're a nigger or something, they would have said that, like, I don't have time for this nigger, and they would have shot him in the head, it would have been a civil rights issue. Mentally ill, a man who is mentally impaired and mentally ill, who is sick, he belongs in a hospital with receiving the benefits of our medical science today, and they shoot him and kill him and murder him in cold blood out of prejudice and ignorance. And yet everyone in society stands around and says, well, they're the police. Well, there's a guilty member here, the people.
Basically, you're saying that if this had been a black person shot, it would be turned into a race issue. But because it's a mentally ill person shot, people just look at it. It would have been
a civil rights issue and a legal matter.
Yeah,
think of it legally.
So you don't
these officers, when they did this, they were no longer officers, and they were men who were violating this man's rights and murdered him, and the others were accessories to it. At that point, why didn't the parents or anybody else, and so far, why hasn't anybody come to defend the community against these murderers? And all of those acted in account of murder. They're murderers. If the entire police department is helping them in this case, they're murderers too.
Well, I mean, the police department has done nothing other than put this guy on paid leave.
Yeah. Well, then they're murderers, and the community should defend themselves against them.
Well, let me ask you. You said that did Danielle still want to come on as a mental health advocate and talk about this story as well?
Oh yeah, but I wanted to relate one thing.
Okay.
Just as in cases with Nazis, a lot of people have convicted them of being pure evil. These are human beings. They're non-thinking people. I want you to understand. I don't consider the cops as thinking people. They are in a system. They follow orders. They don't think about this.
So you view them as basically like automatons that are just following whatever prime directive they feel is in place.
Well, yeah. I mean, why would they do it otherwise? I mean, the police department hires these people. They train them. They put them in all these hours. They put them in a certain culture. I mean, and the people also celebrate that culture.
And we see stories like this happening all the time.
Yes, it was actually earlier this year at the end of this summer. In August, I actually witnessed a crime where a man was killed.
Why don't you tell us about that? What happened?
I was just coming back from picking up some food near where I live here in New Orleans, and while I was driving back with someone else who was the driver, we were driving on City Park Avenue here in New Orleans near Delgado Community College. And there's a crosswalk right there, but the light was out. And I saw a police officer right before that because I was going to turn on City Park Avenue, and he was speeding by without his lights. And I was like, whoa. And I told him to wait up. And then I saw the car, and I was like looking for it, and I saw it. Then I saw it suddenly stop way ahead of me. And I was like, what happened there? And then when I was driving up to it, I saw another police officer's lights come on facing the other direction toward us. And I came up to it, and there was a man, and they had pulled to the side, and I was right up. Our car was right up, and they had just ran over him and killed him, and there was blood from his crushed skull, and it was blood was just starting to drip off his skull into the street. I tried to get out and to assist the man, and they waved me off, and had a hand on their gun, and I told, like, we have to leave or we're going to get hurt. And I wanted to do something, but more police came and cornered off the area. And so I tried to contact the news authorities about it, what happened. I also did call in to make some calls to where this would be notified by other authorities. So far that I know, no action. The police put out statements later that the man was walking and he ran into the police car trying to kill himself, and of course their lights were on too, and then he later died later when it was clear that the man had been killed
at the scene. Right, at the scene.
Yeah, and this young man had died who was 28 years old, who was a student at Delgado.
You basically witnessed firsthand the cops doing a hit and run and a cover-up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was horrifying, and I told other people about trying to go down to the police department. They told me they didn't want to help. They didn't want to get involved because they said the police would come out here and shoot me. And, of course, the police department has police officers here in Louisiana on death row for actually people calling the police, and they are actually putting hits on with the Lynn Davis case.
Which is unusual for a cop to actually be on death row or be held accountable. I mean, that's how crazy the cops in New Orleans are.
Yeah.
Because you have to be a pretty fucked up cop to actually be held accountable for your actions.
Yeah, Galen, before we brought you on the line here, we were listening to an excerpt of the news story for this, and we had gotten about halfway through it. I was wondering maybe we could play the rest of it. You'll be able to hear it, too. And
you going to get Danielle?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay.
I think Galen loves the police.
Galen is a big...
If there's anything we can glean from this story...
It's that Galen wants to suck cop cock.
Galen is pro-authority and pro the police murdering innocent people.
That's his favorite thing in the world.
Play something. Just talk to her online.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Danielle. Why don't you first tell us a little bit about your what you do as a mental health advocate on YouTube?
Okay, well, I have my blog. It's called the Danny Z Blog, and basically, I'm just trying to raise awareness about mental illness, mental health issues,
stigma,
to end the stigma surrounding them, so that people aren't in fear of getting help for those things.
Yeah, well, we wanted to play. We've already played part of this clip, but we're gonna go ahead and play the rest, and then we're gonna get you back in on the conversation after it's played. You'll be able to hear it, so we're just gonna go ahead and play that real quick.
All right, here it is.
See this kid? This is my son. This is my flesh and blood that they murdered.
The teen's family and friends angrily demand action against the officer. The district attorney promises to go wherever the truth leads.
This was uncalled for, and this is not how mental health patients should be treated.
An iReporter describes Keith Vidal as a very passionate kid who loved music and basketball more than anything on this earth. His performances on YouTube and smiling selfies, all just memories now of a life abruptly ended.
David Mattingly joins us now. David, what's the status right now on the 3 officers who were involved in this incident?
Well, these 3 officers all came from different departments. One was a county deputy and 2 were from local police departments. So far, the deputy and one of the police officers have been cleared of not violating any sort of procedure or law by their respective departments. One other officer has been placed on administrative leave, and his attorney is saying that once the state has finished with its investigation, then everyone will find out that all of these officers were acting appropriately.
Yeah, that's the end of the news story, that all of the officers acted appropriately.
Yeah, so Danielle, Galen tells us that you have some passionate opinions on this issue. Why don't you share those passionate opinions with us?
Oh, well, that's disgusting. I cannot believe that they are going to get away with that. I know, like, when it comes to mental illness, a lot of people think that, like, people that have mental health issues like that are usually violent, but they're much more likely to be the victims of violent crimes, especially when it comes to police getting involved. Like, I think to begin with, an ambulance should have been sent out to handle that call along with police officers. And I mean, police officers, they need a lot better training on how to deal with people with mental illness, because this kind of thing happens way too much.
Can you cite some other examples of this sort of thing happening?
Oh, I can't think of the exact names right now. Galen, do you know the name of the guy in California? Kelly.
If you can't remember, if you can't remember the exact
there
details,
have been so many, and then there's
Right.
the Down syndrome case in Washington D.C.
Right.
too, where the kid who was Down syndrome, he had an IQ of 30, and he was killed and murdered by police for simply having a tantrum and taken away from his caretaker. They explained that he was mentally deficient, and just to be calm and get his attention, he'll be good and he'll go away and do what he's supposed to do. He's with his caretaker, and they're like, no, and they kill him.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason,
you guys,
a physical or mental threat or that disorderly. They did it anyway.
Do you guys
got away with it?
Do you guys think that that this is an issue where the police have a contempt for mentally ill people, or do you think this is just an issue of not being properly trained, or do you think that there is some larger cultural culpability here?
I think it has to do with both, like with them not being properly trained and also just like the stigma that surrounds mental illness, like I was saying earlier. I think that a lot of times also it's people with mental illness are often victimized because others feel that they can get away with it a lot of times.
Well, that seems to be the case, at least when it comes to cops.
Right.
You know, I was thinking it's like, okay, well, you have these cops who basically they're jocks and bullies and shit in high school. Police departments are actually allowed to discriminate on the basis of intelligence. They're not. It's not so you can't hire a cop that's this stupid. It's you can't hire a cop that's this smart. So I mean, you have people, you have these guys who are not. You know, many departments will actually discriminate on the basis of, oh, well, you scored too highly on this intelligence test, so you're not allowed.
Well, I mean, the majority of their qualifications and their testing is physically related rather than.
Yeah. So I mean, like, why, if these people are supposed to be peacekeepers, shouldn't they be able to extend compassion, empathy, and understanding in situations like this?
No, they're hired, as I said, to be non-thinking people. There are a lot of businesses, and I've even been when I've applied to a place where I filled out, everything to apply for a job in my application, and I had a friend that worked there. He came up and ripped it up. He says, "Man, it looks stupid. They're going to be intimidated by you. They don't want people to intimidate them. They want non-thinking people. Don't you understand? That's what they're hiring, is the automatons. It's in the implementation. See?"
So you guys both feel that the system is culpable, that this sort of thing is going to keep happening, basically.
Well, there was one other thing that hasn't been said, and that is that people, look, we're all equal. Even people, who are mentally ill, whatever your sexuality, any of this,
we're all supposed to be equal in the eyes of the law.
But there's something else here. We're not all equally intelligent and all equally understanding of each other. There are different cultures, which creates misunderstanding, and there are different intelligences, which cause us not to relate and understand one another too. So we have to continually mind the gap, and these gaps of understanding and meaning cause almost every problem humanity has. And this is another case. They could not see and are blind to this person's humanity. Mm-hmm. They were not capable of seeing this. These police officers are not. Should they be police officers? Hell no. But I think the entire thing stinks from the society that has done nothing to them to what about this person's justice? Right. This is just as bad as Emmett Till, in my opinion, and what happened to him in other cases.
All right. Well, I want to wrap this story up, but I want to ask you guys one last question before we let you go and move on to something else. What do you think needs to happen for stories like this to become a thing of the past?
Well, I think one thing is definitely that police need better training, and there's some nonprofits like NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, that does provide trainings. Another thing is that, well, I mean, in the meantime, I guess, until they quit behaving this way, I think it's important for family and friends of people that have mental illness to be involved in their lives and to follow up when, say, they do have interactions with the police or with hospitals, things like that, because like I said before, they are constantly the victims of things like this, but a lot of times it goes, or just of being mistreated, and a lot of times it goes unreported because, you know, it's hard enough for them to make it through the day, and let alone like go up against an organization as powerful as like the police force or a hospital or something like that. So.
As for me, this is a problem of institutional ignorance, the institutional policies and the justice system. First of all, you know, they need to enforce rights of all people. That means when blacks in the South during Jim Crow did not have rights because they weren't enforced. They had literally none. The Constitution doesn't mean shit if it's not enforced. We have to start enforcing rights for everyone, even in prisons. For all people, mentally ill and Down syndrome are even more needed because they don't have any capability to cognitively understand any of their legal rights and to protect themselves and to defend themselves. And we have a duty to them. So we need to change and enforce the law, but also with law enforcement officials in the justice system, wherever they may be, from street cops to people in prisons, to have a system in place of a checks and balances and to inform them. They're going to probably always be automatons, but to understand the rules, that this is not permissible. We have gotten better as a society in certain ways. Look at where we come from Jim Crow, but we still have problems, and this needs to be handled.
Well, thank you guys very much for being on this call.
TJ, I actually have one,
Scotty wants to add one more thing, I guess.
Yeah, again, I didn't really want to interrupt you because you were making a lot of good points, but TJ made a point earlier of, and I had a question, are you a sexual dynamo, or is that true or not?
Is who?
Is Galen a sexual dynamo?
Yeah, well, you have to ask Danny. She knows better than Galen.
Like, we're asking Galen. Just
well, all I can say is ask Holly because she knows.
Ask Holly. I remember Holly punching you in the balls, Galen. I don't think it went very far. So
that's how Galen gets off.
I guess we know the answer.
I got my revenge.
Don't worry, Galen. We're sending the police your way now. So
yeah, we're sending some cops to your house.
All right.
All right. Bye, Galen.
Bye.
Okay, we're gonna move on to a less serious story. Where is it? Is it here?
Yeah, it's up there.
Oh, here it is. Atomic wedgie causes death, according to authorities. Fresno, California, an Oklahoma man is behind bars accused of murder after deputies in I can't pronounce the county, say Bradley Davis killed his stepfather by giving him what is known as an atomic wedgie. Court papers show Davis admitting to pulling Yes, really.
This really happened.
Pulling Denver St. Clair's, his name is Denver St. Clair, Denver St. Clair's underwear over his head.
That sounds like a total porn star.
Allowing the elastic band to wrap around his neck. Davis dialed 911 to report his crime after St. Clair stopped breathing. Officials say he told detectives he gave his stepfather an atomic wedgie. Davis told police a fight started after his stepfather insulted his mother. Police say the fight turned violent with blood spatter on the walls and underwear over the victim's head. Court papers also show Davis planned on assaulting his stepfather but not necessarily killing him. Davis is being held without bond. A formal charge is expected to be filed at a court hearing later this month.
What fucking brand of underwear survived going all the way from his ass to his neck and suffocated him and killed him?
Those ain't Hanes, because that shit would not...
It had to be like tidy whities, like Calvin Klein tidy whities or something like that.
Yeah, that's a strong, like whatever underwear brand that is, this is a good advertisement for them because that is a strong elastic band.
Yeah, this underwear will fucking kill someone.
Our underwear is strong enough to kill. That's pretty imposing.
Yeah, it's a sad story in a way, but it's also
hilarious.
Fucking hilarious. Yeah, I mean,
it's funny.
It's almost unbelievable. Like someone was actually killed by an atomic wedgie.
I have a rule, and I think this should be law. If your death is funny, no one should be charged with a crime.
So there's like a panel of 10 people, and if you can get one of them to laugh, you go free. Like 12, like maybe 12, like a jury.
Yeah. You plead your case to the jury, and if you can get an overwhelming majority to laugh, then you are a free man.
Mark, yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to find a clip. We already have that one.
Yeah.
I need to fucking find something on this soundboard that applies to this somehow.
Like you killed your dad with his own.
Here we go.
Ever since I started working.
No, I'm just gonna go to the end.
That's messed up.
Yeah, there we go. That's messed up. That's messed up.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I mean,
is there anything to say about this story other than the fact that it's hilarious?
I don't have facts to back this up.
I do have facts.
No, you don't.
The fact is, it's hilarious.
If you don't have a job and you're not rich, blame yourself.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to answer some questions from our audience.
We may even call someone on Skype.
We may call some random person on Skype
and
just
if
to fucking bullshit with them.
If they're stupid, if they're fucking retarded, then we may never do it again.
Yes.
So, just throwing that out there.
But we're going to take a brief break. We will be back with a little bit more show.
Drunken Peasants Podcast. We'll be right back.
Right back. Music. Cue the music.
Put on Journey. TJ's favorite band.
Music.
Don't stop.
Believe.
No, remember the end of The Sopranos. Don't stop.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
We can't stop.
There's no music.
Hold on, I know why.
Hey guys, we've just been told by our executive producer Jen that inclement weather basically demands that we get on the road and get back to where we live.
Yeah.
Because it's getting pretty bad out there. So we're gonna head
Unless
back.
you want this to be the last show.
Yeah, unless you want us to just die, which you probably do. But
I want you dead.
We're sorry. We're gonna do some stuff with the audience. Well, probably not the next show because it's gonna be Howard Bloom. That reminds me. Tune in tomorrow if you guys want to watch us interview Howard Bloom. It should be fun and interesting. If you think Galen can talk, he's got nothing on fucking Howard Bloom. So
yeah. So thanks everyone for tuning in.
We'll put on some more tunes for you guys to listen to for a minute before we just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Adios.
Drunken Peasants
Drunken Peasants Podcast.
It's over.